This is my review of the Canyon Sender CF 9.0. First off, I just want to say they spec this bike really well. I just really like their choice of components. The bike's suspension came with an X2 rear and Fox 40, both factory, which means it has the Kashima coating. The brakes were SRAM Guide RSC. This is one thing I'd like to change, just a personal preference. I'd like to see Saint brakes. They're my go-to DH brake, but the RSCs are good brakes. The drivetrain's all SRAM XO DH, which is a great drivetrain. The seat post, interesting, is I-beam. I prefer I-beam seat posts over the traditional bars, as if you case a jump and your butt hits the seat, you end up blowing the bars out and you have to replace your seat. I-beam seems to be a lot stronger. Same thing with crashes. If you hit your seat hard, it'll bend the bars and you're going to need a new seat. I-beam's just a piece of plastic underneath, and it seems to be lighter and far stronger. Came with a Renthal bar, Renthal stem. The wheels were pretty standard. The DT Swiss FR 1950s. These seem to be the go-to aluminum wheels for DH bikes. And the tires are Maxxis Minion DHR2. I can't remember if that was front or rear. I'd like to see that tire in the rear and the DHF in the front. They're both, the DHR is a 2.4 and the DHF is a 2.5, but essentially they're both 2.5s. The weight is 15.83 kilograms, which converts to 35 pounds, which is a fairly competitive weight. I'd say that's right kind of in the middle. You know, a 32, 33 is considered light, a 37, 38 is kind of on the heavier end of the spectrum. The price I have listed is 4,800 pounds. I don't have the exact equivalent into dollars. One thing to add, the cranks were the Race Face 6 cranks, which are the lightest DH cranks on the market, and mine came with HT pedals, which are the pedals I choose too. They're super light and they seem to be reliable. They run on bushings, which is not quite as good as cartridge bearings, but I've been happy with them. On to my ride impressions for the bike. I found this bike to be an excellent park bike / race bike. I feel it hits the happy medium between ground hugging ability and pop ability. If you want a bike that's purely for ground hugging, a better race machine, I would say the Comenkel Supreme V4 is the bike to go for, with that high pivot point, because as the rock hits the bike, the tire moves out of the way of the rock, versus this bike, when you hit a rock, the tire actually moves towards the rock, so you get more hung up on the rock, which is common of a lot of bikes. Just that high idler pulley gives you that advantage. But this bike was able to pop off jumps great for A-line and dirt merchant, and I found it had adequate ability to tackle the tough stuff in terms of technical trails. It does come with an air shock, the X2. If you're just a pure racer, I'd probably put on the X2 coil to get a little bit more supple off the top when going over rocks, but if you want to hit a variety of trails, I'd probably just leave on the air shock. You can slightly tune it better for small bump compliance. The bike did feel a little heavy in the rear. I like my bikes to be a little bit more balanced. It felt the front was quite light, and you could feel the weight towards the back around the bottom bracket, but I never noticed that on jumps, just when lifting up the bike. I found the bike cornered adequately, definitely not the best cornering bike I've been on. I'd probably say the best one is a Demo 8, but I found it better than most of the other bikes I've demoed. I would definitely recommend this bike as an all-around fun bike for an average rider riding a combination of park and maybe competing in a few DH races. As it is a direct sales bike, you get a great deal for the spec that you get and for the price that you pay. The only bike I prefer better to this is the Trek Session 9.9, but again, you pay far more money for that bike to get a equivalently spec'd bike. Actually, I'd say this bike is far better spec'd, as you get race face cranks, carbon bars, and with the Trek you end up with like a full Saint drivetrain and Bontrager seat post, seat, handlebar, all their in-house parts. So this bike is significantly cheaper than the Trek Session 9.9, and it's better spec'd. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow.